Away we go. I'm live? Okay. Am I live? I hope I'm live. Welcome to Movie Crap Live. If I am live. How's it going on this? Probably one of the crazier entertainment news days ever? Let's say ever? Oh. Yeah, okay. That heard me. I would definitely say one of the biggest, definitely of this decade, definitely of this year. I'm going to send out the... This is a nuts day. This is a nuts day. I'm not going to lie here. But hello, everyone. Hello to Sinram, Cornbread, Purple Goop, Austin, Pup, William Elman. I think I said Cornbread. If I didn't, Cornbread, Blacksy Oxawinkle, Austin. Hello to everyone who is here, who are in the chat. Purple Goop. Hello and welcome to Movie Crap Live. We are here yet again in Super Kirby Dude. Yes, these past 24 hours have been a bit wild. This is kind of why I always think when I write up the things for these on Wednesday, like, oh, it's gonna happen. That I always think like, man, I don't know, Thursday. I hope Thursday makes them more interesting because these aren't that crazy. And then hello Jordan Salafel, hello K Master. We are here. We are live. I'm gonna switch. Oh, I learned this trick. Hold on. Is it fade to black? And I'm here. Haha. I'm gonna do that at the end. I think I need to change the settings on it. Oh, can I do it like milliseconds? Wait, no. Okay. I think whatever. We're fine. Anyway, I learned something. Hello, the Westonator. But yes, I will talk about both Smiling Friends and the Warner Brothers Paramount nonsense. I'm not sure how to. It's a wild day. It's a wild day. I'm gonna move this up a little. It's a bit crazy. Is the music still playing? I guess that makes sense. Do you stop music? Okay. It's playing for a while. I mean, that's okay. It's a cool song. Oh! Whoa! Hello, Bloxy, coming up real fast. They did get sent out. I checked. And Gary's here? Gary's here? Okay. So Bloxy is the first super chat at night. Hello, William Owen. Hello, Gary. K-Master. I hope I said hi to everyone. I got this. I found this at the grocery store kind of randomly. But as soon as I saw it, oh, now I'm like messing up the shot. I gotta move it over. I get Felix in there. Okay. I just found this randomly. It's called Golden Eagle. I have never heard of this before. The grocery store was like, what the fuck is this? They had to do a price check on this thing. So I don't know what this is. It's shaped like a Red Bull, as you can see. Hey, the Steve Meister, how's it going? But yes, I don't know what this is, but yeah, we're trying to. All right, Bloxy. Let's imagine if Kevin James was in Shark Tale 2. I'm gonna be honest. I've never seen Shark Tale. I was thinking maybe I should, and maybe he's in. He could be in that. He could have been playing Jack Black in that. I don't know. Anyway, cheers to you, Bloxy. Cheers to you. And this tastes pretty much exactly like a Red Bull. I don't know. Anyway, I do know. So the C4 Godzilla thing, I saw a sign that's like 3D at a deli, and I need to take a. Hey Dan, how's it going? I need to take a video of it. But apparently that was a newer thing. I'm not up on my energy drink news. Maybe I should like follow something. I know the thing it's called Gym Weed, which I was like, I don't really want to take like a CBD drink on stream, but it's not. It's like an energy. Anyway, apparently they'll give you some for free. And I've thought about that. But that's anyway. You live in New York and never seen Shark Tale. Panafoca, that's the greatest. I don't know why that's funny, but it's funny. I love it. Hello, Al Vasquez. All right. Did I have stuff? Oh, okay. I'll just be real quick about this because I do think you want me to shut the fuck up to talk more. Whatever. But actually, if you saw that guy talking on about hedge funds in New York during the snowstorm, I got a snow day on Monday. It's fucking great with the kids. It was awesome. It was I I don't know. I've never had a snow day in forever. It was wonderful. It was a lot of snow. We didn't get to go out because it was really snowing until like noon. Um, oh, I should have worn my smelling furniture. But I saw the head fudge guy. I actually saw it on TV live because it was like we should put on the news, see what's going on. So that's kind of interesting. Super Kirby, dude. I'm currently wearing my smiling friend shirt. I should have done that. I shouldn't have this on. Sorry, I have it on for camera purposes, but you have that on. You can see that again later. Anyway, cheers to you. I should have done that. That would have been smarter. I'll wear it this weekend. People will come up to me, be like, "How are you feeling?" I'm doing all right, man. Thank you. Cheers to you, Super Kirby, dude. Um, but yeah, we had a cool snow day. Snow was awesome. I almost made a snow video, but I didn't. And I watched Roman Holiday, and Roman Holiday with my daughter, and Roman Holiday is still really good. If you've never seen Roman Holiday, if you ever like, I don't get Audrey Hepburn. See Roman Holiday. Breakfast at Tiffany's, not really good. Let's be real here. Let's be real. Anyway, um, I don't get the whole thing. Some video stuff, and then we'll get. I'm just trying to be quick. Um, what's it? Thank you for liking the reviews. I've been putting out actual just long review videos. I think tomorrow, this weekend will be a bunch of shorts, just because there's stuff I want to get out and done and stuff. The music things I put out volume 3. There's going to be a volume 4 in about 2 months. I think that these are all songs from before the more recent stuff, which is a folder I use all the time. I mainly use for the music. So later on, whenever volume 5 comes out, will be more stuff you probably have heard, but I'm gonna try to like figure out that later. But check out the music compilations. They're sort of just there, so like if people are like, can I listen to your music? And like link to that video and stuff. But there will be another one coming out in April. But I don't know when the next one's coming out after that. It takes a while. I kind of realized I should just make a bunch at once, and I'll make a bunch of, and it'll be more. The next one after these two will be more of the stuff you hear regularly in videos. Although I do put more newer stuff in. So anyway, and there's gonna be. I wanted to clear up the seeing whatever movie thing. Some movies I literally run out of work and then go to see like right away, so there's not much of a video, and then just go right home. So that would be a terrible video. So I do have like a bit of, even though it's like random stuff, I do a little bit of pride. So like Iron Lung doesn't have one, Arco doesn't have one. Oh, I'm gonna review Arco. I forget what else. I think I'm gonna have a review of Goat soon. That won't have one. So if you're wondering, that's the deal with that. I wanted to mention that. And that's about it. I hope you like Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, and Puss in Boots. I feel like we did two big ones this week. I feel like we did two big ones. Um, but yeah, I think Breakfast at Tiffany's, if you live in New York, um, and especially around, have been around Tiffany's or Central Park, Audrey Hepburn's stuff in Breakfast at Tiffany's is something I have to deal with way too much, and I think it's made me just sick of it. I also do not get the feminine obsession with her in general, but I think she's a good actress. I just like do not get the thing people have for her in general. Anyway, I think she's good. But oh, I just saw a screening of Dial M for Murder in 3D earlier tonight. Is that good, by the way? I've always wanted to do an old 3D screening like that. Or isn't Creature from the Black Lagoons, I think, in 3D also. But okay, that sounds cool, man. That sounds cool. Cheers to you, William, and thank you very much. All right, let's just um I this is a very jam packed show, so I'm just normally I saw this thing and I'm doing this and stuff, but I think I'm just gonna go on for the hello Modelo Butterfly. What was Scream Set? We'll talk about that later. All right, so this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show, and if we hit every time we hit $20, I'll light up this awesome Godzilla lamp, and every time we hit or a multiple of $20, this turns on for a little bit, and We get $40 and Godzilla does a roar, basically. So it's kind of cool. And yeah, so that's kind of a thank you there, if you were financially able to do so. But also my Patreon, which does all sorts of cool stuff like postcards, which are going to come out soon. Oh, Austin, let me finish this part. I'll get to you. I don't know why I'm pointing like you're on my laptop, but let's pretend you can see that. As also my commentary series, which is a Patreon exclusive. My what's it? Public access movie crap, which you can movie stuff. This is movie crap, which you can only watch through my Patreon, as well as all sorts of exclusive stuff, and it helps me. And you get more power in the movie review vote. You get postcards for $10 and up. Patrons, all sorts of cool stuff. Exclusive to that, it also helps me to continue to do what I do, and I very much thank you if you're financially able to do so. If you are not financially able to do so, liking this video and subscribing very much helps this channel, and also will help YouTube know that you like these videos and you would like to see more of them, assuming you do. So if this can be mutually beneficial, in which you're like, I would like to watch more of your videos, I don't hear about them as much, I'm assuming you, the person, then like and subscribe, turn on notifications if you want. Then where you can also get my community posts about throwbacks and when streams are coming up and stuff like that. But if you don't have a YouTube account, which I think it's better to watch YouTube with a YouTube account, I personally think, but it's up to you, and you're just watching this, then thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you just being here and watching it. It's really cool of you. Thank you very much. That is still support in some way. I've gotten some people from the Charles Theater in Baltimore. I noticed those flyers stuck around. My mom was nice enough to put those up about 2 months ago, and I'm still getting messages. So I guess they've stayed around. So thank you to my mom. I need to tell you that. Anyway, before we talk the other part, don't worry, Discord people. Austin said, I know a bunch big Warner Brothers Smiling Friend news, but you better talk and watch the Chippewa movie trailer. What are you talking about? Wait, did we joke about this? Is this a joke? Hold on. Chippewa movie trailer? What even is that? Wasn't in your thing, first off. Was that in your thing 8 hours ago? What is that? Hold on. I'm gonna just watch. Oh, it's on Instagram. Okay, hold on. What? Pause. I'm gonna wait. I don't want to get in trouble. I'll just watch it muted. They're in a field. What is that thing? And it's sleeping on a log, and there's a microwave flying, and it sent it a fax. How is this a movie? Austin, what's going on, man? What is this? This is a whole movie? And they're riding a duck? Who are the... I don't understand any of this. They're going to a land? That was the whole thing? Anyway, that was weird. It was in his message. You did say this morning? I totally missed that. I'm sorry, Austin. I totally missed that. I apologize. But I just watched it. I'm confused. But anyway, um there you go. You got your thing, man. Cheers to you, Austin. Cheers to you. I like the comment, know this real. It's art. They're going to an island. Okay. I really don't know what that. I'm sorry. I don't know. I sort of know the design. I don't know anything about it. But how about this? How about this? When we don't have the Oscars and I do need to do 1979, send me like a short I can review and I'll like actually give it a fair chance. But sorry, just watching it out of context, I'm like, wait, these little things and they ride a duck to an island? But wait, they don't have an English dub? I'm so lost. Anyway. All right, let's keep it rolling. All right, this also, if you like everyone in the chat and our funny banter here, I guess you can you can join the Discord, which is linked below, which I guess has been delayed being terrible. Not my Discord, but the Discord in general. Anyway, it's run very well by Cornbread, Austin, Zane Powers, and Ryan Walterson. Do a wonderful job. I'm not sure if we're doing a movie watch this week or not, but if they are, this Friday they're watching Mouse Hunt, which sounds really cool. So if you like Mouse Hunt, you should check that out. We do daily questions. I actually asked them a gaming question in the game chat. If I have to buy a game, I pretty much will ask you guys. I got it for a good deal, by the way. If you're wondering, based on the price, it is price pointed at that. Anyway, Oh, they're doing it on Friday. This Friday they're watching Mouse Hunt. Okay, good to know. I will try to not post during the. I will check, make sure I don't do that. But it's a really wonderful Discord. I get compliments on the wonderful community there. It's really, really cool. Go check it out if you want to join. It's really cool. And I asked them what they want me to talk about Movie Club. We do daily questions in general. We do the licensed playing card channel, all sorts of cool stuff on the Discord. So join if you want to. All right, so man, YouTube is so, or maybe, oh, okay, maybe it's me. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Okay. You wanted that probably. All right. So I think the two things are two sides of the thumbnails I'm going to talk about first, and all of that. First off, we learned last night that Smiling Friends, the I would say probably one of the cooler animated shows going on right now, is ending at 3 seasons. The creators made a video on a big announcement on Adult Swim's YouTube channel, I believe. I mean, I watched the video. That they kind of wanted to stop after 3 seasons. There are 2 more episodes. The 2 episodes that we heard rumored, uh, that we heard that were rumored and such, are going to be the last 2 episodes. They come out on April 12th, and that will be it for Smiling Friends. No more. Sorry I missed that, Austin. I am sorry, but I did do it, so it worked out. I am very surprised that a big show like Smiling Friends is just gone. It was particularly because I went to that pop-up thing and it was like insanely popular and so many people are into it. And I think I I was surprised, but I'm also like, you know what though? I kind of thought let's go to 5 and then they could end it, and I was like kind of fine with that. Um, but and I wasn't the biggest fan of season 3. It was maybe my least favorite. But I do support creators just going like we need to stop. And I was thinking about this a lot today. And there's two things with this is that if you look at how creators in the 2010s operated versus creators in the 2020s, creators in the 2010s seem to want to work with the studio and try to have a big hit and just keep going and printing money and stuff. And creators in the 2020s sort of like want to do what their artistic vision sort of allows and what they can do and like demand their creative vision and stuff. And it's a very different environment. And I was thinking how like let's take it. I bring Dan Harmon up. How like it's so weird to me. Um, that Dan Harmon was like one of the most discussed cartoon like TV creators in all of television. I'm not even like I feel like I'm a crazy person who like no one else. I like made this up, but he had a huge podcast. He was a huge creator, and now like we never talk about him anymore. It's like you never hear of it. Now he's a lot less public, but he has like a Rick and Morty still going, and he has that show on Fox that I guess someone watches. I don't know, but the point is, it's like I think a lot of people are looking at those creators from the 2010s and such and being like, well, do I want to go down that road? Because what is Dan Harmon doing that's interesting? Like, he's not really interested. We just talk about, memories of Community and memories of Rick and Morty when we liked it and stuff. And I think a lot of people are looking like, do I just want to like sit back and like collect checks? Or do I want to keep creating things? Which also, I'm assuming the Smiling Friends guys have some money at this point. And I think like they probably, don't want to be that way. And I think that's a smarter move because they can be able to create things and use their kind of names to create things. Because as soon as like, I don't think you could launch a big show with Dan Harmon as much as you could 10 years ago. But I think those guys, whenever their next thing is, we're all going to be really excited about it. And I think like they're probably looking at that. I also think, and I might tweet this tomorrow. I don't know. I've been thinking about this a bit. Is that hey Nat and Box 64, they had this sort of semi not really feud with the Simpsons, and I think it might be possibly the biggest fuck you to the Simpsons to go, well, I don't want to be The Simpsons. And it felt like any big cartoon show, whether it be, South Park, Family Guy, Rick and Morty, wanted to effectively become The Simpsons. And it feels like them going like, I actually don't want that. And you can keep going forever, but I don't want to be you at all. And it's kind of a big sign of like, I think that when they talk about it running forever, I think the subtext is like, I don't really want to be The Simpsons. And maybe I'm reading into that, but I do think like how animation creators have changed is like they used to have to fight to stick around. And now I think they're like, well, now that we have all this popularity and can do what we want to do, maybe we don't have to like run the show into the ground to like keep our name out there and keep money going and stuff. I don't know the whole thing. I do think I don't think they knew the Paramount thing because no one knew the Paramount thing that got approved at 3 o'clock today. Uh, so I don't actually think that. I think they got out at the right time and the timing worked out for them. I really doubt that they knew what was going on between like Ted Sarandos and Donald Trump. I don't think the Friends creators were getting texts from someone within the White House about what they should do for season 4 and 5. I don't believe that. I think that I've seen when I said that people respond to that. I'm not going to uh, there's no data that suggests that they would know that. All right, I think it's just the timing worked out, and they're probably like, phew, maybe they didn't want to deal with Netflix. That's a high possibility. Maybe they're like, I don't want to deal with either of these guys, so I'm done. Fuck this. I can see that being completely true, but yeah, I do not believe that they knew about that. But it is sad. It was a show I really liked a lot. I feel like it's one of the few shows I've gotten to cover on this channel from beginning to end. I mean, I'll do a review of the two videos. Um, and I'm excited to talk about them and stuff and to watch them. But it was a good run. It was a good show. I think it's like I'd much rather have a good complete show than like yeah, it went on too long and your enthusiasm's gone and stuff. This way, it's like it remains fresh in people's minds. It's better to be, think of it this way. Would you rather be the Jimi Hendrix experience? You have three really classic albums, you have Band of Gypsies. Or would you be Metallica, who had three really great albums at the beginning, and then Injustice for All, and then it's like the Black Album, and then it just keeps getting worse and worse. And I think people would much rather be the Jimi Hendrix experience. Not that those are comparable. You know what I mean? I don't know. But anyway, sorry I didn't see all your things, Cornbread. But it is sad. It's sad to lose a major cartoon. I don't think it got the love it should have while it was on. But whatever. But that they did like it sounded like in the message they did consider having someone else run it. They considered having doing all these options. So it didn't sound to me like they went. I'd rather. I mean, look, Al Vasquez. Not gonna lie, Prince's literally any album he made from the first one to the Batman album is amazing. So, but no, I think it's sad to see it go. But I think if that's what they want to do, and it does seem like they want to, and they were just burned out. I don't want people making shitty cartoons. So, but it did seem like, they legitimately tried to consider any option, and they did mention that. So, save anger. All right. Well, we're gonna talk about. No, I agree. Super Curvy Dude. I think if anyone else ran it, it wouldn't be the same. I think they knew this would not work. It wouldn't be good. And ultimately, the other thing is like, do you want to run something into the ground, or do you want to just have that big spark to you that people still talk about? And I think that does matter. It's also like if you're not feeling it, and you don't have to, I think there's a lot of creators who do not have that. Controversy is a solid album, William Moment. I'm not gonna lie. I'm I don't know. I mean, Purple Rain's really great. Anyway, sorry, I don't want to. I don't know. I go back and forth between so many of them. Whatever. Sorry. 1999's good. I kind of just put on any Prince album from the beginning to Batman. You're good. Anyway, sorry. Um, But I do feel bad that if people were expecting a job and stuff like that, I don't know if how they communicated with them or if they did or not. And maybe they come up with another show. Maybe they stick with Adult Swim. I mean, we'll see what the future of Adult Swim is. But that they are able to come back if they want to. And like, to me, it's like they could have just taken some time off. Like the hype was so insurmountable. But at the same time, like, I do think, and I'll say this and then kind of transition into the next one. I think there's going to be a lot more independent distribution and creators in both this decade and the coming decades based on what's happening entertainment wise. I don't see it any other way. Anyway, all right, so today, this is the other thing here. Despite the fact that we had heard that the Warner Brothers Netflix deal was pretty much what it was, Paramount finally, after literally 10 tries, that's not even a joke, that is their 10th attempt, is going to merge with Warner Brothers. The company that is actually in a lot of debt is now in even more debt. That always works out. Ask Toys R Us. But ask KB Toys. They really did it. Netflix was fighting towards the end. Ted Sarandos, who is the Netflix CEO, actually met with Trump today to try to figure that out. No one knows what's said, although I do feel like there's going to be a lot of info that comes out from tomorrow through this weekend. Like, the reporters are working tonight. Let's say that. No one, I mean, the funny thing is when I was doing research for the show and all this stuff, and I was like, I did some research on this whole thing. It was like, almost every reporter was like, yeah, this is still going. I don't know. Can we just end this? And I don't think anyone thought it was going to happen today. A few people thought Friday, and I thought, oh, maybe, it'll just be Netflix confirms it. It is fairly official because the board said they're going with Paramount because it was a better deal for shareholders. It's a lot of money. It's different from the Netflix deal. The Netflix deal was just the studio, the streaming assets, and just Turner Classic Movies. That's not a joke. It was it's like, we don't want any cable, but we do want Turner Classic Movies. However, the Paramount deal, which is different because how the Netflix deal worked, they bought all this stuff, and then the rest were going to be sold off. Which potentially, when I read that, I was like, but potentially they could have sold, like, made more money. But anyway, doing the other thing potentially, but we didn't know what the price was, so they weren't gonna. Potentially, they couldn't, I guess. But anyway, they're buying like everything, every cable channel, everything, Warner Brothers, DC, everything like that. And that's the plan right now. They did $31 a share, which if you own a lot of shares is, you know, times that and stuff like that. But the Netflix deal had been, for the most part, agreed to. They did this 7-day thing where Paramount was allowed to talk to Warner Brothers, which was weird, but okay. There's a lot about this that I don't make sense, but there were some like preliminary merger talk things that Paramount got through very quickly. That it took like Disney Fox, for example, 6 months. It took them 3 months. And it did seem like Netflix was like, look, we don't want to like, we wanted it for that price, but we don't want, we don't need this. My honest opinion is this is a dumbass move. I understand it's more money. These are people who have more money than any of us, really. And they don't need that more money. And I don't think it's a deal that's going to work out for Warner Brothers legacy. Paramount is not very well run presently. I do not feel like they know what they're doing based on how they've released things. Like, for example, like the SpongeBob movie shouldn't have come out that weekend. They put it out anyway. The Jackass release they have coming out is badly timed. I can't think of their other stuff necessarily. The Ninja Turtle stuff, it seems like they're onto something, but I don't know, even though that got moved up. We'll talk about that later. But it felt to me like you have someone running Paramount who nope, I dropped my cards there. Who doesn't really know what he's doing yet. He's new to the game. He's trying, he was frustrated that it's going to take a while to get Paramount to be what it is. Hello, Nutso Studios. Hello, Eggplant Man. And also, thank you for bringing that up. The Saudi Arabia money, we're not fully sure how they've gotten this money, and that his dad, through Oracle, owns TikTok. Um, so this is this is bad. This is not good. I don't see how this works out. There's going to be a lot of job loss. There's actually going to be less job loss with Netflix. There's going to be more job loss with this because they're merging together. Um, but I don't know what's going to happen, honestly. I kind of hope they go back on this. They're like, you know what, bad move, or like the shareholders vote differently, but the board sided with this, and most of them will do that. Um, David's going to hit closer to the sun, and Larry will get mad by his money burned. OFC, he likely won't face consequences. No, I agree. He Nattenbach64, you were right. Cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat. But no, now they own Adult Swim, not they own the past episodes of Smiling Friends. I guess that's the best way to say it. Um, oh, that was weird. They oh, you're just seeing my scalp there. I'm sorry about that. It's really not a good thing for entertainment. It's not a good thing for any of us. I don't really know who it's good for, other than the Ellisons. Now there is an obsession that the conservatives and a lot of the conservative politicians have with, and I'm not joking about this, with like news at like CNN. This is a big part of this. This is why they wanted CNN. They wanted this because of CNN, or like their late night show obsession. I do not understand this at all. This is such a dumbass move because like you want a news network in 2026. Like I understand they still get a lot of views, but they're not getting like it's a declining asset. Like it's just like there's no way that is appreciating in value. Same with the Colbert thing. It's like you could just wait and they'll all go off the air. Like I don't understand what everyone is thinking here. And I don't understand Trump and their obsession with like, what if we make the news conservative? Cool. Nobody, the party's over, man. It's like what? Like what are we talking about? I don't I'm so lost on like you're gonna like ruin Warner Brothers to get CNN. Who the fuck cares? Like nobody watches CNN. Nobody watches these late night shows. This is such a weird obsession that I've never fully understood. And it doesn't appear to be anywhere like making any sort of sense. It's so weird because that is like one of the bigger things for the Ellisons and conservatives is that, and I just do not understand it whatsoever. Like, what are we really doing there? I do worry about like DC and Superman. I do worry about Warner Brothers Animation and the Looney Tunes and all that stuff. It's very disconcerting. It's very scary. And I don't understand. I don't think they really know fully what they're going to do with it. I think they might, but I don't know. To me, it's like when I heard this, I was like, this is bad. This is bad. No, look, MLT, I know not everyone is tech aware. However, I mean, like we learned last week, what was that fact I talked about? How 40% of television use is still like the TV networks and broadcasts and stuff. Totally true. However, we all admit like as much as I brought up like I think people should watch local news. I think local news is actually important, but I know it's declining. I'm an oldie person. It's just like it's like if someone's like, guys, I bought the rights to ham radio. Like it doesn't what like what am I doing with that? I don't know. I don't think they'll stop the Wizarding World. I especially now. JK is like, I think if Netflix had bought it, they would have had to make a decision was rolling. I don't. I think we're stuck with that show, that Harry Potter show, um, which I'm very curious how that's gonna go. Honestly, I part of me thinks what will really happen is it'll have a huge spike, will drop very sharply in season two, and then because I know the third book wasn't adapted correctly, I guess, or like the way it's like the movie is very different from that book. I can understand. I can like. I'm not saying it's okay or something. Just saying, I understand from a fan perspective what the what man, YouTube's being very weird. Uh, what they the need for it, I guess. But I don't know. We'll see what's gonna happen. But apparently they are shooting the Harry Potter show during all this. Man, what is up with YouTube? Um, it's very bad. They're silencing me. Yeah, no, there's ads are homes.com. Anyway, we'll see what ultimately happens. There's going to be a lot of info coming out in the coming weeks. We'll see what is going to happen. I'm not fully sure. Honestly, I'm just going to keep talking even though it's freezing because you can still hear me. And I know a lot of you aren't even watching the video, which is fine. I'm not upset or something. I can't see anything right now. What the fuck? Okay, hold on. Anything's going to chat, I just can't see. This is very clearly a YouTube issue. I shouldn't use your channel. Oh well. But oh, here we go. I see everybody there. But like Ted, not Ted, David Zaslav, basically his only thing was about shareholders. That's all he talked about there. He was like, the shareholders will see a lot of value in this. And I find that to be distressing because I think Netflix was the better deal the entire time. And why can't we do more of that? Anyway, I find it really upsetting, the entire deal. I don't think it's a good move. I don't I and the thing that a lot of people brought up is, Netflix was like, we will do the 45-day window. We're not going to shut down the thing with what's it theatrical, but Paramount has never committed to how much they'll make for Paramount and um, Warner Brothers, or they'll never say how much they're getting theaters, how many movies they'll put out in theaters. Will it be like Disney Fox, or Fox just doesn't exist? That is what we're looking at here. So we'll see. I'm a little worried there. I don't know if I have too much else to talk about. But yeah, if anyone, you know, we're still early, so any super chats, we're not at Godzilla yet, but we could be soon. But I hope they go back on it. I don't think they will, and I worry about the future of entertainment. But like I said before, I do think we're going to see a rise and continue of independent creators. I think we're not going to see. We're going to see studios having a hard time to get. Uh, um, Studios are going to have a hard time getting creators at a certain point because they're not going to want to deal with them. And I'm curious what. Hey, Oscar, you're thirsty? Give me 1 second. That box will be right back. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. He was thirsty. Okay, sorry. Natbox 64. What was I going to say there? Yes. Easy opportunity for MGM to get that major crown. I'm not sure. I'm always confused if they are a major or not. Natbox 64. That is a good question, though. Cheers to you. I think we're going to see a lot more mini majors. Yeah, Nolan. Oh, we're at $20. We can do Godzilla. Um, I don't know. The fact that, I mean, Zaslav, the thing is, they had a ton of debt. A lot of people are like, why would Warner sell? I don't understand. It's, that was a cat. At least I hope it was. Uh, that's just what they're gonna do, and that's what they wanted to sell it. But like the whole thing is just because that AT&T thing, so AT&T could have their own Netflix, and they kept selling, and it ruined the company. So and now it's just Paramount Warner Brothers or Warner Brothers Skydance. Oh yeah, the other thing is they have all these animation studios. Skydance, before it bought anything, had an animation division run by John Lasseter. I know they have constantly said he would not run animation. And I know it might sound like I'm trying to brew up trouble or something, but it is always a part of all these articles. There is going to have to be a question of are they going to have John Lasseter run something with Warner Brothers Animation? And you know, not great. I hope they don't. But like, but I didn't want to list off everything they own because you think Crackle can come back? Well, Sony has stayed out of the streaming wars like purposely because it makes more financial sense to stay out of it. So I think they might continue to stay out of it. Anyway, cheers to you, Austin. Um all right. I think that's ever. I don't know. It's all right. So in a very much smaller story, regular show The Lost Tapes. We're sure it's called The Lost Tapes now. We know it's coming out possibly in May or earlier. Supposedly it is sort of be like random adventures between seasons and stuff. I don't know if I love this idea. But I'm excited for more regular show. I kind of wouldn't mind it being like, what was the park like after the whole thing, and like when Mordecai leaves, and I wouldn't mind that, but I don't know. You used to watch All in the Family was on Crackle. I didn't realize that. All right, let's talk about a bunch of um Spider-Man Sony news, which a lot of it is very weird. First off, Sony and Tom Rothman specifically says they're going to reboot the Spider-Man spin-off movies. This is not, by the way, the Spider-Verse films. This is like Madam Web and Craven and stuff. And Tom Rothman, who runs Sony, has said he wants to redo those and reboot them. And he said, he hasn't really been that specific, but he said they aren't done and they will do more and they're going to sort of reboot them. So maybe we'll get even more another Craven, which I think audiences will have a hard time accepting. Another person playing Madam Web and Craven and Morbius. But they are not done. He didn't give any specifics or any characters he wants to do or anything like that. But he did. I like watched the clip and he is basically like, yeah, no, we're gonna do more. We're not done. But he didn't say like what they're doing or like, the various different you know things that we've heard people hype up and stuff like that. I don't know, but they have they're saying they're not done. So as much as we thought we were done with those movies, we're not. So maybe I should see Craven and Morbius. I never saw those two. I saw Madam Web, so or what was it called? Spum whatever. All right, in other this like literally have three I'm just doing it all in Sin Raimi. You can just call this Spider-Man story. Oh, Norbert's here. Um, Canceling close enough and going back to regular show feels like Arrested Development. I sort of agree with that. I agree with that. I liked evolving kind of with him, which as you can tell, I thought like I was like, man, this will be cool. I'll follow this creator. He had a guys hanging on their job, and then it ended. Um, right when I had a kid, and then his new show was him with the kid. I was like, man, we'll just keep going, but no, apparently not. Well, he has that other show on Adult Swim. So, um, anyway, apparently there's going to be a Venom animated movie. all we know is Tom Hardy is producing, and it's by the guys who made the last Final Destination movie. They're very hot because apparently Spielberg really likes these guys a lot. Um, we don't know what's going on with it. It sounds kind of weird, but I think they're kind of like, look, the animated thing seems to be working for us, so why don't we do that? Maybe that's like what the Spider-Man movies will become. But yeah, Tom Hardy is involved as a producer. Um, it is a regular show. Nice one, the Croft Show. And then the final one, and this is actually kind of interesting. Oh, hey, William, Peter Parker. I'm gonna put some dirt in your. Nice. Cheers to you, man. Thank you for your generosity. It's Morbin time. This one involves context. If you don't remember this, the full story behind this. So, when they made No Way Home, right, the last Spider-Man, it had a big sequence in on the Statue of Liberty, which Spider-Man's done a few things on Liberty Island, including the tram on the way to Liberty Island killing his Gwen Stacy. But anyway, no, that's not Liberty Island. That's the other one, Randall's Island, something. Anyway, sorry, I messed that up. Whatever. So they did a whole sequence, the end sequence on Liberty Island on the Statue of Liberty, and China didn't like that because they don't want American propaganda in their movies. They want their own propaganda in their movies. Not a joke, really. And they say, could you remove it? And they're like, it means the whole end sequence. So, no? What? Are you for real? And so No Way Home did not come out in China and was still a big hit. And it made the Chinese America box office exchange thing seem kind of dumb because they didn't have like this huge movie because they refused to do it, and it like actually it I'm not joking here, it really messed up um uh the kind of Hollywood relationship because people were like, well, we don't seems like we don't need you now because that like didn't involve China. That box office did not involve um China. However, they have said they will not do that this time for Brand New Day. They're like no Statue of Liberty this time, which also makes sense because they're not going to do another Statue of Liberty sequence. That seems stupid. But nothing against the Pepsi Cola sign, the New York landmark. I mean, it is an actual landmark. That's I know I brought it up a few times in Madam Web. They let that go, but whatever. But yeah, so they will. It's no, apparently the Statue of Liberty thing was like a debate, but I don't know what the whole deal was with it. But anyway, they it's interesting that they're like, well, let's not do that again because their box office is sort of coming back. If you read the Chinese box office because they had New Year recently, some huge box office. So I'm sure they're looking at that and they're like, look, let's like Naja 2, I think they're like, well, maybe let's go back. Let's not have does Spider-Man even like America? I think he likes communism if you think about it. I don't know. No, I think I I've never actually gotten the whole America Spider-Man thing because he's not in the comics like he lives in America, but I don't remember him, you know. Spider-Man's more like Zoran than he is like actually that's true. He's a kid from Queens. He's a cool wife. They both I don't know. It works. Don't worry about it. All right. Unless sorry, I'm like too goofy to do the Baptist. Maybe I should do KPop Demon Hunters first. Huh. Let's do KPop Demon Hunters. I'll do that first. I'll do the BAFTAs after. I don't want to be like laughing during that one. All right. We have two K-pop Demon Hunter stories that are actually pretty big deals. The first one is that K-pop Demon Hunters, as well as Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, will be entered into the Criterion collection, and be given physical releases. Now, I'm pretty sure Guillermo del Toro has been in the Criterion collection like a bunch of times at this point. But K-pop Demon Hunters is pretty crazy considering it's animated and, a disc that probably normal people will buy. Of course, I know people who are really into Criterion are really weird about it. which I don't really get because like even with the Godzilla, when they put out Godzilla, they were like, oh, well, I don't know. I heard backlash about that, which I never understood because I'm like, but it's a good set. Like this, I don't know. My thing with this is like we need to look at film culture in a different way. This is a really good thing for so many things, and I don't want to hear like, but what I don't Ghibli should have gotten in first or something. It doesn't work like that, and it's like, look, K-pop Demon Hunters just this week. This is the first week it wasn't in the Netflix top 10 in 8 months. It's an astoundingly popular thing. Still, if it gets on Blu ray, it's going to sell well. That is going to help the Criterion collection continue to release little small movies and probably take more chances on stuff. And there's a good chance that kids will see this and eventually get into other movies. There's so much positive about this. Like, and also, like, if you want to complain Ghibli should be in there, please shut the fuck up. Like, I'm so sick of this. Like, oh, I picked the animated movie that has a lot of releases to it and has good special features in other collections. Whereas, like, UPA had to be put out by Turner Classic Movies. Whereas, like, I don't know, like a Fleischer Brothers Criterion collection. Whereas, all those anime movies that barely have releases to them getting ones. Like, there's so many that could really use that authenticity to them. And yet, like, I constantly hear, like, the most basic ass, like, I don't, Grave of the Fireflies doesn't need a Criterion release. It would be nice, but, like, let's be real here. Like, there are other ones like, what's it, Wave Twisters, which is, like, basically Adult Swim, pre-Adult Swim. I never hear about that movie. If that got a Criterion, not so many people would not be able to shut the fuck up about it. So I just think like we need to look at like I just anyway I do get sick of that stuff, and it's like there's or like I was talking about Sid Sings the Blues. I think maybe in a review that hasn't come out yet, but which it was a animated film that was animated by one person and was like early on the independent release thing. That's something that 100% should get a release there. Or what's it like? What's that? Kirikou, the African animated, or I think it's French animated film. There's like so many like that. They could really use that we don't get to hear about in America as much. Or the King and the Mockingbird. There's like so many that like if you were gonna play this game of where's Ghibli, where's this, where's that, I already have bought several copies of throughout my life. Like I don't play that game with me. But also understand like we need what I call like on ramp kind of movies and stuff where like there's a kid who will get K-pop Demon Hunters. There'll be a little slip in there, and they'll be like, "Wait, what's Blast of Silence? What's this? Oh, okay." And then when they're older, they'll actually see it. Like we need to be finding ways to get people into it, and also get money into the Criterion collection. Like, come on, I don't like this Belladonna of Sadness. I didn't like it as much as most people, but I agree with you. But point is like we need to be more open to stuff and stop this like, but it's this guy's turn. It's nobody's turn. This will make them money. Be chill. And like also, I think that movie is good enough. And I think what Sony is doing presently is really good. And like we need to it'd be cool to appreciate that. I'm gonna be honest, K-pop Demon Hunters is a lot better than Frankenstein, the Del Toro one. I think most people would agree with that. I didn't hear a lot of people complaining about Frankenstein being in there. Well, it's just film snobbery for no other reason, just to show off, like who Del Toro. I don't know. I have no patience for this bullshit. My point is welcome to the Criterion Collection, K-pop Demon Hunters. I hope you get a bunch of kids into weird movies and give the Criterion Collection more money to do weird stuff with. That is all a positive, and that's my feelings on it. I apologize for ranting. The Annie Awards. Um, I could just list off animation stuff that should have Criterion Collection things before the ones people complain about. I could do this. I could do this all day, literally, but I'm not going to. I'm just saying if Chili Willy had a Criterion release. All right. Anyway, sorry. So the Annie Awards, and if they don't let me do an essay in the Chili Willy, the Chili Willy collection, that would be funny. No, I'm kind of anyway. All right, sorry. The Annie Awards came out. I'm not a big Annie Awards. Sorry, wasn't that hot? Sorry, I got too amped up. The Annie Awards were this week, and K-pop Demon Hunters won 10 awards, including Best Picture, Best FX, music, writing, editorial, direction, voice acting, character design, production design, and character animation. For best independent feature, Arco won, which I guess many people will say maybe it has a chance at winning best picture. It doesn't, but good for Arco. We also learned in other things, Snow Bear actually won best short subject, which is funny because there's only one film in their best short subject that got an Oscar nomination, which is The Girl Who Cried Pearls, which is the only short film I'm not going to get to review because I couldn't find it online anywhere. My review got you into Belladonna Sadness. Wow, okay. My review didn't get me into it. Sorry. Um, but and Gumball won for best TV media for children and best TV media for mature. Common Side Effects pilot one, which I think is well deserved. I thought that was actually really cool that Common Side Effects was not Smiling Friends. I guess wasn't nominated, but Haha You Clowns, Duncan Holds a Baby was nominated. And Win or Lose got a bunch of wins as well. But overall, I'm cool with them winning. Alice. Oh, I didn't know they did a Spankenheimer Alice Criterion collection. That is one that deserves it. Like it happened, or it did. If it didn't, that I would agree with that. That's a really good. That's a good one to show people to show how adaptations are different because that's a really good. That it always bugs me when anyone tries to do Alice in Wonderland after that because to me it's like there's a Disney one and there's Spankenheimers and like it's a bunch of other ones that are just by foolish people. Um, uh, but anyway, choose to Willy Wonka. I very much agree with you on that. I don't know what those kittens are doing out there, but you know what? I sign off on the Manos the Hands of Fate in the Criterion Collection. I wouldn't mind if MST3K went over there. I think it sort of deserves it. So yeah, I'm going to turn this off because we're sort of close to the next marker there. All right, sorry, we are sort of running long because I have to say it. All right, let's just talk about the BAFTAs because I went on that weird KPop Demon Hunters rant. So let me give me 1 second and then we'll fixed and blood tea. Come on. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Cat's found um, these things. Not a good idea. I don't know who left those at. All right, what was I? Okay, so the BAFTAs. What happened at the BAFTAs? So the BAFTAs were this past weekend, I believe, on Sunday. And basically, while Michael B. Jordan and uh, Delroy Lindo, sorry, my cats were. Delroy Lindo were presenting the Best Visual Effects Award, which was actually the first award of the night. They were there, and then this guy who has Tourette's and a specific version with Tourette's, or I think Calica, I believe, um, blurted out. Did I say that right? Delroy Lindo? I thought I said Delroy Lindo. Did I say it wrong? Anyway, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting the award for Best Visual Effects, and then they heard someone yell out the N word with the hard R and everything. And because there was a guy there with Tourette's, and it was disconcerting that it happened at the event. They were then told by Warner Brothers to please remove that because it was going to air on the BBC 2 hours after. There was a 2 hour delay. It was not cut out. The gentleman with Tourette's who I have. I'm not really mad as much at him under how the BBC and the BAFTAs handled this situation, which is very odd. And I'll say that there's a lot of issues I have with how they handled it that they should have sort of known was going to happen. Um, it's very weird, this whole thing. But anyway, there was a 2 hour delay. They did cut out someone in their speech later on the program saying "Free Palestine." There was another person time the guy yelled out homophobic slurs when Alan Cummings, who was the host, was presenting, as well as he yelled out inappropriate stuff when a Paddington kind of person in a suit doing Paddington was presenting as well. So he did that a couple times, and all those were cut out. But the N word, which was pointed out by Warner Brothers, I heard from another news organization that by the manager, the agency of Mike B. Jordan and Del Rey Lindo. I don't know if they have separate agencies, but their agents contacting them as well. Like that needs to be cut out before it goes to air. It was not, which is really weird because you had 2 hours and it sounds like you did a lot of other cutting out of other things. But seemingly the word that like you had a lot of people telling you that needs to be cut out was just not, which is odd. As well as when the gentleman with Tourette's who I should have written his name down. Uh he John Davidson, sorry, when he talked about it, hey Georgians, how's it going? He mentioned that he thought it was weird because I heard a lot of people like, why was that guy standing here on mic? And I was like, well, do we know that? And then I read later, he was like, I thought it was weird they put me so close to a microphone to pick up the audience, which I was like, yeah. And for other context, this guy, John Davison, there was a film that was being honored there called I Swear, which won a bunch of awards that night. And it's about him. But a major part of that film, and I've seen the clip, by the way, I didn't just read about it, is that when he was knighted by the Queen, he started, because he has Tourette's and stuff, he started like saying like "fuck the Queen" and various like derogatory things, which is not like something he can control. Um, so the BBC apparently was aware that this guy uh, has this issue and would happen at a big public event, and they claim they notified everyone, which seems a little sus to almost everyone. Um, and also that he's been at pretty major stuff before, and they didn't mic him like that. I don't know what's going on. We have no proof of what they did. It just sounds like they majorly screwed this up, especially because as I've talked about on this show before, I have a lot of issues with the BAFTAs, and particularly how they've honored Black American actors in the past, or like just didn't, as they've never nominated Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman, and I think all the other people I've talked. I mean, if you remember, I talked about this before, and I do feel like this like is another thing they've done with this. I don't know what the exact deal is. It doesn't sound like they want to elaborate, but I do think this like delegitimizes. Thank you. The BAFTAs to an extreme degree, although I do feel like they should have been delegitimized before. Also, that Michael B. Jordan's parents apparently were there during this. They got very upset. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, if you're aware of this guy and you put him like within, he even thought not the best seat for someone with Tourette's to be at the award show. Why are they? I don't, I don't understand like what you're doing. And apparently the BBC was aware of this guy and like what, like it seems like there was a better way to have done all of this, and not like a lot of people. Oh, he should have been separated and stuff. I don't know if I like fully agree with that, but the fact that like none of these people, even the production designer of Sinners, he met her and he was saying the N word and stuff. So I do think like no one was there to be like, hey, he has Tourette's. It doesn't that he doesn't mean I don't know. It's not it's involuntary. His apologies. He has a certain form of Tourette's, which is different than only 10% of people with Tourette's is kind of rare, I guess. I'm not a Tourette's expert at all. I do find it goes into the legacy of that award show and what they do. And I thought it was really disappointing. And I do think like there's so many signs that they knew better and knew how to handle this, and they kind of just refused to. And I'm not saying you can't honor that guy and give him his movie and stuff, but like, why is he next to a microphone? Like, if he was like way in the back and like people were like, "What do you say?" Maybe that's like the best situation you could do. But it's like I get that like his film was a big film and like it's a big British movie and like people were really behind it, but like understand like you had a lot of international major celebrities there, also with their films, and unless like if you knew people are going to present and he was going to yell those things out, but it's also like why were other things taken out? I don't know. I think they could have just not had him next to a microphone and had him seated in a different location in the arena, not like separated. I don't want to go that far, but I do feel like I do think they could have handled that better. I think there are better ways to handle that and explain to people. And it just felt like a little odd, the whole thing. What's up, Nico? Okay, just right there. Anyway, thank you, Medela Butterfly. I don't want him separated. I don't mean that. I just think they could have not had him next to a mic. I think that is which he even has said. So I think stuff like that just doesn't. I don't know, but if I were any of these celebrities, I would just like stop going to this thing. Like, there's too much evidence to the contrary at this point. But cheers, G Medela Butterfly. Um, yeah, William, it is like a joke out of a naked guy. I agree with that. Because people are like, "Oh, well, you can't just have them separate." I'm like, but you could have handled that better. It sounds like you have a lot of experience handling this, like dealing with this guy, and like, I don't know, did they? I'm like pretty certain they did not air on TV him telling the queen to go fuck herself. So like, I feel like you knew how to handle this. So I don't know. But if even he's like, why was I seated there? Like, it's just very, I don't know. I'm also like, were there people who were there who are like, this is not good? I don't know. I think, but I'm more mad at the BBC because they, I, to be honest with you, the fact that they cut out so much other stuff, but not the thing that like several high profile people were like, please cut this out, and they just didn't do it, seems very sus to me. Um, I'm just, you know, but um, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think he should be like completely segregated, but I think they could have done it better. Like if they were like, or like they could have been like, oh, we're aware he might do something like that. Could be like, hey, let's like go to the bathroom and then just come back. I don't know. They could have just done that. He could have just been like something like that. I mean, that's Grace Randolph. Whatever. That's her whole thing is just being horrible. Um. All right. I guess we're close to the 40, so if we get there, I'll do the Godzilla, and want to do any super chats and stuff, let me know. All right, let's keep going. I guess technically it's like 11:30 something because anyway, whatever. Um we'll just keep going. What do I have? Sorry, I'm just like making sure. Okay. We learned with Ryan Coogler is rebooting the X Files. We still do not know. I heard there was going to be, a female detective and a male detective, and we've yet to hear who the, I guess, Mulder is. I believe one Battle After Another won Best Picture, but like I think I Swear won most of the British stuff. I don't know. I was like not interested at this point. I was like, I don't. Although Ryan Coogler won Best Screenplay, so that's something. How do you think Hoppers will perform in theaters? Short tunes. I actually think it'll do pretty well. Oh, hey, we got to the 40 there. Cheers to you, man. I think because all my kids and like anytime I've heard they're brought up with kids, they're very hyped for it. So I actually think it's going to do well. And we get a Godzilla roar. Let's. Oh no, Felix went down. Do that. Oh hey, there we go. Not the fart one. I actually think Hoppers will do well, and I think it'll hold for a while. Which I think it's gonna actually take Zootopia 2 out of the top 10. I think it'll do well. I actually do think it's gonna work out for it, but we'll see. I think it's gonna be an interesting. I mean, well, okay, it'll do well until Mario. It has a month, basically. Good luck. So, the Ryan Coogler X Files reboot. Yes, Daniel Detweiler is attached. There is a Hulu pilot order. We do not know who's Mulder. I actually think Gerard Carmichael or Hugh Stanfield would be two good choices. But I don't know if like I wouldn't mind if it's one detective like do a totally different vibe, but like I'm curious. Like I haven't heard anything about who that person is. If they are, if he's not going that direction, let's go a different direction. I'm okay with that too. But she is attached. He is doing. It seems he has said that's like sort of his next thing, and then it's Black Panther 3. So I don't know if we'll get uh you know I don't know when we'll get a new original thing from him, but I am curious about it. I do think like the X Files thing, like yeah, we got that legacy sequel thing, which I got really disinterested in. So I'm curious what Ryan Coogler would do with it because he did, you know, do like Creed was a great reboot. So I'm like I'm curious about what he would do with it. So, but I would like to know like what's going on with if they are doing a Mulder or not. I don't need to have a Mulder necessarily. It's not a requirement. I'm just like I'm a little lost. That's what I had heard before. But she's a good actress, and I'm sure it'll be good. But it does sound like it is going forward. In I didn't expect this news. George, there was a lost George Méliès film, which was 45 seconds long, and it is apparently the first film to have a robot in it. And they found it. It's been restored. It's gonna start playing and stuff. I mean, you could release that thing on Instagram because it's so short. I think they should. That would be cool. But yeah, it's supposed to be the first short film appearance or first film appearance of a robot from George Méliès. George Méliès was a genius, and a lot of his stuff is lost, and it's very sad. But we found another one of his, so that's good. I'm gonna do some rumors, and then I want to talk a little bit about Scream 7 and how I'm a little confused. No, I think it's a different thing, but that's a good question, Embla T. I'm not sure if it's anything like the automaton from Hugo, although Scorsese has that. Chloe Zhao apparently is being courted for Tom Cruise for something. A few people keep saying it's from another Mission Impossible, unless she's doing a pilot for a new show, which if you didn't know why big directors do pilots, you get a percentage of that show until it stops running. So if you're ever like, why would a big director do a show? It's a major payday. That's why they do it. And I know she's being courted by Tom Cruise. Everyone seems to think it's Mission Impossible. I do not think it's another movie. I don't think she's a good choice for another Mission Impossible movie anyway. But a show could be interesting. I'm going to assume that. That's my theory. I have nothing to back that up. But Chloe Zhao is at least talking to Tom Cruise, and people are reading into that. Apparently the Charlie's Angels reboot, which we mentioned last week, and I kind of was like, oh, we're doing it again. But supposedly they are actually considering doing this as a Lego sequel to the 2000s movies. And the main reason they're doing the 2000s movies is because last year Cameron Diaz came back to acting, and they're like, well, if she's back in acting, back in action. Chloe Zhao is doing the Buffy reboot. That is actually happening, but Tom Cruise is talking to her too. Um, but apparently they are now really considering doing it because Cameron Diaz is back, and they're sort of just waiting for her. And now that she's back, they are doing it. So that is an added detail from them. And the other thing is Adam Wingard has left the Face Off sequel, but he's doing his own thing, which is Onslaught, which I think it's with the kind of the guest crew for the most part, which sounds cool. They are actively looking for another director. I hope it's not David Leitch or something. I think it's just like a lot of these directors are like, what if I just do my own thing? Why do I have to keep doing franchises? And to be honest, Adam Wingard, the Blair Witch thing did not really work out for him. Neither did Death Note, although the Godzilla stuff did. So I think he's probably just like tired of that, and I get it. So I don't really want a Face Off sequel unless it's like maybe we didn't get refaced off, re we faced we were we ever faced off? Who was faced off? Anyway, point is he's not involved, which kills my interest in this. All right, so I want to say this. I am very confused about Scream 7. In fact, I'm also confused about TikTok. And let me explain this here. Is that I want to turn off this. Is I thought everyone wasn't going to see Scream 7. I don't know, everybody's like, we're not going to see Scream 7. And same with uh we're not going to use TikTok, all this stuff. And then as a few weeks go by, and suddenly that's not true at all. And all these people are seeing Scream 7. I am so fucking confused. Like, are what? Like, I don't really want to see. It doesn't seem good. The Scream franchise has gone on to a point that like it's necessary for someone to make a Scream movie to take down the Scream movies, which is like bizarre. I still think like just make Stab. Just make a Stab movie at this point. Like don't make Scream movies anymore. Just go to the parody Stab movies that started in Scream 2. That's really what we want. But I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna see it, and I kind of feel sad because I've stuck with that franchise. Part of me thinks maybe I should like do a decent review of Scream, the first one, because I did one when the channel started, but I could do a really good one now, and maybe I should just do that. But it is like I don't know. I'm very confused about like banning stuff because it felt like when Oracle bought TikTok or all this stuff, and then I saw people who were like, "Oh, I'm deleting it and stuff," um, and then they're back watching stuff on TikTok. So I'm like, I'm lost. I really, I don't really want to see Scream 7, so I'll just uh I'll just sit it out or get a bootleg or something. But I really don't want to support it in any way. Maybe I'll do a review of the first one if I have time. But there's so many other things to talk about and review, so it's sort of just is like I don't want to leave me alone. Leave me alone, Scream 7. It just doesn't seem that interesting. If what the problem with Scream 7 ultimately though is, other than the what they did to Melissa Barrera and stuff, is just like if I hadn't gotten Scream 5 and 6, and it was the first one, and it's with Nev Campbell and uh her daughter and stuff, that would have been I would have been way more hyped for this. But that we've already had another sub Scream franchise, and then with the 5 and 6, and then so it's just like what is I don't know. Anyway, I'm also confused about TikTok because I definitely saw people in Baltimore on Instagram be like, "Oh, don't use TikTok," and then recently I saw them on Instagram being like, "Well, I was watching TikTok," and I was like, "What is this, man?" So anyway, I don't know if I post promotions for here on TikTok, but I really haven't posted another video on there. But I am very lost on the whole thing. I'm very confused about what is are we supposed to not use, because it does feel like that's not most people don't care. But anyway, Mystery Science Theater in the reboot, um let me get the name, has said they didn't announce a movie this week, to be clear. They announced that they're doing a short, one of the shorts, which I think makes a lot of sense because it's called of a case of spring fever, uh, and it's to the industry marketing angle of a young man's fancy, which sounds interesting. I think this is actually a really good choice for uh the Mike and the crew, because Shake Hands with Danger is definitely like the biggest riff short I've seen in years. Like it's even in a Denzel Curry song. I've heard non Mystery Science Theater people. Yeah, actually, TikTok and Scream are owned by the same person. Uh, um, It's all the Ellisons. So I think it's actually like them doing a short makes so much sense. I will say those short collection DVDs and VHSs. Anytime I go into a Suncoast video when that was still open, any location, I'm not even joking here, they had those on, and the guys working there were laughing at them. I knew so many people would watch the shorts, so I think it's like actually a really good move. I do hope they like put it on YouTube though and like actually distribute it, because I do think like that's easier for people to get into, because Mystery Science Theater is like, you know, how long is an episode? I think that really hurts that show. I'll be honest. So, and I think Mike was better at the show. I don't know. My official thing on the Mike Joel thing is that I think Joel, the highs of Joel get higher than Mike ever did in terms of like Manos and stuff like that. But I think Mike might have more good episodes than Joel does, because the show is finding its voice during a lot of the Joel stuff. That's always been my thing with it. Although I think I love more Joel episodes, like the high points, than Mike ones. Like if like my universal favorite, but I do think like the consistency of the Mike years, he doesn't get enough credit for that. If you really think about it, like for real, like, but also like Mike was a part of the Joel years too. By the way, I think people forget how much Mike is it. Okay, so I don't have anything to say about this, but I learned that there's a movie called The Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime, the movie Tears of Azure. I don't know what that is, but I love that title. I don't have anything to say with it. I just wanted to say the title. I don't know if that's good or gross or weird. I just like that someone made a movie called that. Good for them. Um, Jackass 5 apparently will be the last one. They said that with Jackass 3 and 4 and now 5. This is like Fast and Furious. Just please don't do, just, you're not allowed to say that anymore unless it's your last one. Didn't you learn from the mistake of Jay-Z saying the Black Album was the last one? Just whatever. Um uh Ninja Turtles has moved up. This is the only Paramount decision I like this week. Moved up to August 13th. It was originally going to come on September 17th. I honestly, those are like sort of the same date in terms of what August and September mean box office wise. So I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm not going to look at the 2027 August and September release calendar, but I was like, when I looked at that, yeah. No Springs? What? Coley. Wait, what is that? No Springs. That sounds very familiar. That is from something. What is that from? Hold on. No Springs. Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing. Oh, is that from A Case of Spring Fever? Oh, wow. Oh, interesting. Okay, good one. Good one. Sorry. 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 Cheers to you. I'm embarrassed. Um, Wait, are you Jackass 5? Are they really jumping off the CN Tower? Not cool. Yeah, Hayao Miyazaki saying it's the last movie. Literally the entire time I've been seeing. No, you, Millie Owen. Yeah, I'm just. It's been a long day. I apologize. I apologize. Thank you for the super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Okay, two more things in trailers, box office, then we'll take a break. Yes, and then one obit, obviously. Reading Rainbow, the new Reading Rainbow, which my kids actually really like, and we watched the older Reading Rainbow on its YouTube channel. You can watch old Reading Rainbow right now, on YouTube, and we watch them, and they're really good. But we like the new one, and then it just stopped. Apparently, Sony is picking up 24 episodes of the guy from that librarian guy from TikTok or whatever, and they are ordering more. They don't have a network for it, but I honestly wouldn't mind if they just put it on YouTube. But they are going to continue with it. I'm just talking about this because my kids are really into that show, and we like watching old Reading Rainbows. And but yeah, check out its YouTube channel. It's like Kazoo or something. It's legitimately very good. I will attest that it's a good reboot, and you can watch the old ones. It's more of a kids thing, so I know y'all are too old for that. But if you have like nieces and nephews and need something to do with them, put on the new one. They do a good job, and they do different segments of like they go to a place and like what's his name, the guy who plays the Thing is in one and stuff like that. So, and I think generally, like, I know like celebrities being in a million things is dumb, but like having a celebrity read a book and like teach kids to learn stuff, I'm cool with that. that's fine. They can all do that. Anyway, also, I think Cornbread mentioned this. If I'm wrong about this, SCTV, which I have watched before on when it was on late night. It was used to be on after Conan in the early 2000s, so I watched a lot of it. Will be on streaming for the first time, I think maybe ever, on March 3rd on Amazon Prime. So if you've never watched SCTV, it's got John Candy, Martin Short, Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy, like an insane roster of people. Check it out. I endorse SCTV. Watch it March 3rd on Amazon Prime. Wonderful thing. All right, let's talk about trailers. The best trailer of the week was the trailer for Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miyasala. Um, this looks really good. It obviously, like I've said, to me, it looks like someone making Persona about people making the Friday the 13th reboot, which I think is an awesome idea. I'm very excited. It comes out right after my birthday, around my birthday. I'm hyped. I really want. I really want this. It's like my favorite trailer. This is my most anticipated movie of the year. Like I don't Spider-Man, whatever, man. I don't. This is my. I'm actually excited to see Spider-Man with my kids. That's gonna be a lot of fun. But this after that, this is my big one. The other ones were Pretty Lethal, which is like about these ballerinas who then become like vicious killers and stuff. That looks fun. Uma Thurman's in it. I'm down for that. I'll fall asleep during that movie. Then there was Jury Duty season 2, Company Retreat. It looked a lot of fun. I like the season 1 of Jury Duty. My main issue, and I'm not offended, but I just don't like this kind of thing. They made a bunch of redhead jokes. I don't look. My kids have red hair. I have red hair. My wife has red hair. I'm not. I'm just not about that. Like, if you want to do that, I didn't like when South Park did it. I don't like. I just don't like that stuff. Sorry. I don't think it's never very funny. That's kind of my issue with it. If you had some good jokes, I'll laugh. But they're never very good. It's just like they're really pale and evil or something. I'm like, it's like, come on, like, be better at your. If you're gonna discriminate, I expect the jokes to be better. I'm just very disappointed in the black. But other than that, it looks good. But that I didn't. I know it's probably a few jabs, but I don't like that shit. Nobody makes fun of me for that, and I don't live in a country where that is an issue. But I don't like it. I don't have to like it. So there. All right. Box office. Um. Uh. Let's go through this. Yes, I was gonna say we're running along, but drink. And if anyone wants to do any super chats before, sorry, I gotta remind you, I guess. We're towards the end, I guess, before we go on break. So if you want to do it before the break, now is your time. So box office, we basically had a swap of the 1 and the 2 from last week. This week, Goat was number 1. It only went down by 38%, although it made $16 million, which isn't. That's not good. None of this is good. Wuthering Heights went down by 57%. It didn't really um, break out as much as people thought it would. I also think like it's maybe not the brand that people assumed it was. I also think there's been a lot of snow. Like last weekend, there was like Sunday became sort of a snow day, and like I just think there's kind of a lot against certain things this weekend. Whereas Goat also like animated stuff seems to be doing better. Also, if families are going to a movie, they're buying more tickets, stuff like that. I think Goat will do fine. Goat's like basically I see animated box office like this. You have Goat, and then it can do fine until Hoppers, and then that can do okay, and then Mario hits, and then just it's over for everyone. So that's why that's I think that's how that's gonna play. Um, but yeah, Wuthering Heights actually has still it might be outgrossed by Goat at this point, but they're pretty neck and neck in terms of total grosses. Um, Wait, what was this? Hold on, Matt Lauer interviewed the princes and didn't get why William would call Harry a ginger dumbass mother. Yeah, no, that is not a thing that until that South Park episode I heard anyone say outside of like England stuff. They have like a whole thing with fucking I don't know. Hey, everybody's got to discriminate against somebody, I guess. Um, it's the way it goes. Cheers to you, Cinderella. I forget, man, Matt Lauer. Jesus, I don't know. Cheers to you. I remember he I never like loved him, but then he did some interview. It was before Kanye got we fully knew about Kanye, and he kept bringing up his mom like too much, and the whole time I was like, "What is this guy? Sucks." Like I don't, and I just never really liked him. But anyway, um, okay, there's this movie called I Can Only Imagine 2. I don't know what that is. I can only imagine. I guess. The movie Crime 101 is not about a class about crime. It's about a crime on the 101 freeway. See what it does there? I don't. Whatever. I didn't see it. Send Help is holding well despite going down by 50%, but it did lose 175 theaters. But it is actually still at number 5, which is good. And the bigger news, oh, and Solo Mio, if Black Sea Oxenwinkle's still here, is actually still in the top. Is in the top 10. It's number 8. It's doing okay. It lost 700 theaters, but it's still doing okay. So cheers to you, Kevin James. Oh, George Tunes asked me, "What do you think of Robin Williams as an actor?" Um, no, I like Robin Williams a lot as an actor. I feel like he could have done even more. He never really got to do as much as he can. And I also will always say this about him. If you watch like Flubber or Jumanji or any of his big budget stuff, I noticed as I got older how often he's doing a lot of work that makes all the special effects do better. Like he's doing a lot of physical comedy to get that fantasy to work. And I don't think there's many actors who are that committed to that stuff. Um so I think like there's a reason like nobody looks as interesting when they do those things is like he like think of how many big budget things with him people still watch, and I think it's because like he's really selling it. Like I don't think he gets as much credit for that kind of stuff, and he's also good in Good Will Hunting, and I wish he had really gotten to play more villains and stuff like that. But I do think he was. I always thought of him as a great actor, and I still do. And cheers to you, Georgia. Someone was talking to me about him on Who's Line and how those are hard to find. I remember those, and I remember liking them. And then How to Make a Killing at the box office barely did anything. R.I.P. Glenn Powell, I guess. And then Zootopia 2, this is the big one. Zootopia 2 crossed $423 million. It is now the highest grossing movie released in 2025. It could be in the top 10. I think it'll be in the top 10 until Hoppers comes out, although it's number 9. Avatar as well is still in the top 10 at number 10. It hasn't made 400 yet, but it's 399. It was interesting if you look at the. Hold on, I'm using my phone so the computer. We don't. Although we had not as much freezing, so we're getting better. We're getting. I guess. Sorry. Um, if you look at the box office for um the top like movies, pretty much Lilo and Stitch, Minecraft movie, and Zootopia 2 all made about 423 million. They're all around the same range, which is crazy. I've never heard of that before. Um, but good for Zootopia 2, but it is wild that a movie stuck in the top 10 from Thanksgiving, and now we're at the weekend after Valentine's Day. Like that's how crazy Zootopia 2 did. I do think the thing with Zootopia 2, like I haven't heard as many people talk about it, but people are still seeing it, which I find really fascinating. And it's not a bad movie. I thought it was a good movie. Um, and if you want to, oh yeah, what was it? I kept reading about the box office, and apparently there's something called the Boonie Bears. Do people know about the Boonie Bears? I'm kind of curious because I like that name and the huge box office there. Halo, Alex Giraffe. Um, but anyway. All right. Let's do the obits here. The one obit is Robert Carradine. He was most known for most of you, I guess, as the dad from Lizzie McGuire. But he was part of the Carradine family, like David Carradine, who played Kung Fu, and Bill in Kill Bill. They go back to like John Ford westerns. They were even together. I think Robert Carradine and David Carradine. There's a lot of Carradines. In the Long Riders, he was in Revenge of the Nerds. He had a really long established career that is a acting Hollywood dynasty if there ever was one. Um, Yeah, I'm sad to see him go. But he really had a bigger legacy than just Revenge of the Nerds and Lizzie McGuire. He did do some Western stuff. He did other stuff. He was probably a more well-rounded actor. I was aware of because I saw the Long Riders, which is a Walter Hill film, where they're all like different brothers. I think it's like the Guest brothers, the Carradines, maybe the Quaids. It's like it's kind of crazy. Check that out. But he did a lot of different stuff, and R.I.P. to Robert Carradine as well. Although I read of the Nerds like just tread lightly if you're gonna go into the sex comedies of the 80s. Just like, don't just be careful. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Um oh, thank you for being here, Al-Shirev. I missed whatever the typo is. But anyway. Alright. I'm going to take a break. Then we're going to talk about Butterfly or Papillon. I think we're actually because another anime short, but this is kind of what I wanted to talk about because it's the animation's unique, and I kind of I like to cover different animation stuff, but it's nice to like talk about something that's kind of like different, you know what I mean? And I think it's good for everybody basically. But yeah, so I'll be where are we? Sorry. It's been a long day here. Um where is this it? There we go. Let me try to fade. Let me do fade to black. Will it work? No? Oh, then I gotta do that. Okay. I'm just learning. I'm learning these new tricks when I updated OBS. Alright, I'll play a song. I'll use the bathroom. Is it playing now? Is it always playing? If I just click on it, does it just start? Whatever. I'm gonna let this song play. I'll be right back, and then we will finish with talking about the butterfly short and doing some questions, and that'll be it. All right, I'll be right back, and thank you for being here. Okay, we are back. Let me switch. I'm just gonna do the. I'm gonna do the regular. I do want to do Fade. I was gonna do it at the end and surprise everyone. Is it cool? But I wanted to show it too early. Ponyo is really good, by the way. My kids love Ponyo. I think Ponyo doesn't get the respect it deserves, but I don't. Maybe I don't know the Ponyo stuff presently. But anyway, all right. So this will be the last kind of part of the show. These two, talking about the short, and then this. If you want to do any super chats for the rest of the show, please do so. Any support is welcome. Then I can drink more of this Golden Eagle energy drink. I never seen this, and they never had it. They like literally were like, "What even is this?" Definitely a weirder one. I do need to do the make the energy drink video. Well, I don't know. Maybe no one wants that, but I think someone would like it. But whatever. What is Pebbles doing? Oh, they managed to be quiet other than the beads thing. All right. Despite their age, they're like definitely little kids. All right. Okay. Let's. Where are we? Sorry. Okay. So, this is my continued thing to like review all of as many best animated shorts as I can. And I like doing this kind of thing. It's really cool to talk about different shorts, and it's also like one of the reasons I'll talk about the short after. I really do this is because it's one of the few times, and I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, my audience won't watch this something. But I get like if I put a short that's like a random weird short, no one's really gonna watch it. But this is a time where people will watch these and check them out, and it usually works out and stuff view wise. So I actually think it's really cool that there is a time where we can talk about weirder and different animation. I do think more of these should be available online. I know I've said that a lot of times, but yeah, whatever. I mean, I think you know what I think. Ponyo plays well with little kids. Like if you do Totoro, you can also do Ponyo. I think that's like I my kids like Ponyo. It's also like a good like most kids know Little Mermaid. It's a good Little Mermaid riff. Anyway, all right. So today we're going to talk about Butterfly, or as it's called, Papillon. I believe it is a film animated in a hand painted style. This is basically a style where they animate on glass right next to the camera, I guess, and then she like draws on top of what they did and erases and uses sand and all sorts of stuff, pastel and paint by Florence Mahel, I think. This is also produced by one of the producers of Flow. It's actually a biopic, and it's a biopic about an Olympic swimmer called Alfred Noke, I think. He was one of three people who survived the Holocaust to then swim or participate in the Olympics, which I heard from a review. I didn't look that up, but I'm going to assume there weren't a lot of those. But I don't, but he was definitely a person who did do that. He was known for his butterfly stroke, which he was very good at. He competed in the Olympics before World War II and everything that went on, and then was not allowed to be in it because I believe he was Algerian, and was given French citizenship, but because when the Nazis took over France, when they surrendered, they invalidated anyone's passport like that, and then he couldn't swim and stuff like that. This is not your typical biopic. And I think in your typical biopic, it would get into all of the nitty gritty and pain and suffering of that. And there's a lot the fact that he was in a concentration camp, that his wife and child were killed in a concentration camp, and everything like that. But this is not really a strict like World War II thing. They do get into that, and that's a part of his life, and you can't ignore that for making a film about this guy. But the way the animation works in this, he is a swimmer. It's very much his relationship to the water is a central part of this film. But it's how the animation and the paint flows. It feels like your water and the flow of this animation is part of this kind of lucid memory of going in and out and swimming through the whole thing that I really liked about it. As much as like I've heard people say about this that the animation is, you're kind of not paying as much attention to the story as the animation. I actually think the animation is used as part of telling the story that they are telling through the swimmer's, how he views his life and how he views memory, which is through water, which is an important part of him and who he was. And I think it actually makes a lot of sense. I think it complements the story, and the story complements the animation style, which is actually really interesting back and forth that this director did here. Um, this is available on YouTube, by the way, if you want to watch it. It's very, it uses a lot of expressionism. It's very abstract. It's very surreal, but it's probably one of the more interesting. Like, I'm honestly, I'm not trying to not talk about people and their suffering in World War II, but we've been inundated with films about this period. And it honestly feels like, can anyone actually tell an interesting story about someone through this time period? And I would argue that this one definitely is. It's very well directed. It's really smart about what it's doing. Apparently, there wasn't that much information on this guy until this director took on this film. I'm very interested in this animator, and I like if we're going to have, thanks, cats. If we're going to have like, the Oscars, and it brings more attention to kind of, different kinds of films and different kinds of stories and stuff like that. This is the kind of animation that deserves that kind of attention and getting more people to check it out, because otherwise I don't really know about this animator, but I'm really happy to get it. But like the idea of like water and the flow of this animation and the flow of their memory, and like going through his life while seeing like sort of him remembering his life through it, and like the butterfly stroke and what it says about him, what it says about the times he lived in and lived through, and like how he survived all these things, and like where he is. And it's a really fascinating animated film. I actually think it might be, of the three I've seen so far, my favorite. There's one more I'm going to review after this, but I really like it. I think the fluid water sense of it really makes this film into something different and special. And I think this animator really understands, you have a unique animation style, right? It's that's wonderful in itself. That's interesting to watch. But if you understand how to tell a story with specifically that animation style, that's a really interesting artist there. Um, and I really think someone like that can is a really smart, interesting storyteller, as well as a really smart craftsman. Which you don't have a really smart craftsman do expressionistic, surreal, odd kind of biopics like this. It's a really unique, smart animated film. And if you want to learn more about storytelling with animation, I highly actually recommend this. I know like people show like weirder stuff to like get your mind going, but it really does like open up a lot of possibilities in terms of storytelling and biopics, which biopics are really usually boring and pretty straightforward and stuff. And this doesn't leave things out or anything, and does talk about the hate and stuff that went on throughout his life, but it also talks about him and water and how he swam and all that, and does it with all in 15 minutes. I really quite like this film, and I actually felt like I need to watch it again to pick up everything, and I watched it twice, to be honest with you. So this is not, definitely like family friendly or something like that, but it's a really interesting, fascinating short, and I hope you all do get to check it out. And right now, it's kind of one that of the ones I've seen, I really was the most fascinated by, and I think it's a really fascinating portrayal of someone using the animation style to be as important as the story, and kind of showing how this story probably couldn't have been told in any other way. Kind of, I guess, legitimizes this kind of animation style as much as it legitimizes the fact that we should probably be talking about this guy more than we do. Okay, I think that was a good. I think that was good. I think that was. I feel good about that. All right. Sorry. Sometimes I shouldn't. I'm like, I think that might have been good. I don't know. Sometimes I edit them later. I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I don't know. It's also cool to like get people to watch it. Anyway, thank you for the thumbs up. Yes, always click on the thumbs. All right, this is questions, and then we're done. And I guess we're sort of close to another one, but anyway, thank you all for coming out and everything. We'll do Austin's first, because why not? And then wait, let me get the Patreon question, and I should write questions below. Let me get all the questions ready, and then I'll write questions below. Okay, all right, okay. got that there. We got that there. All right. You should check it out, William Almond. It's called Butterfly. It's in the uh uh Austin. You know what? I didn't think of that. Okay. I like that you waited till the end so I didn't start laughing. No, you should, William Almond, it's in the general in the Discord, but it's also pinned below and on my social media and stuff like that. Anyway, let's go through the questions. All right, Austin said, these are the Patreon questions. Hey, Jin, hope you're well. Having a great day. Good show, by the way. My question, what do you think are underappreciated episodes of Mystery Science Theater that are not discussed, like Manos or Space Mutiny, that are great watch over time, overdrawn at the memory bank, which inspired this. Wait, which inspired this question. My favorite is Alien from LA, which I think gets some talk. I'm trying to think of others. I don't hear enough about Hobgoblins, to be honest with you. Although I noticed they've been streaming it a bit. I think actually the Jonah like Cry Wilderness, which is one I like, I don't hear enough about. I'm trying to think of other ones that from I like the Killer Shrews, which I guess people know. But everyone, I will say, of all the shows I've been into, most people I know have a different favorite Mystery Science Theater episode. Um, with like one that you're like that one, I know like I've never watched it actually, which is embarrassing. But I know Rebecca's favorite is Fire Maidens. I remember she told me that. So I was like, oh, and then I never saw it, and I was like, I'm like, why haven't I seen it? But yeah, that's at least 20 years ago or a long time ago. Oh, if you could, okay. William Ellman asked me if you could see any film in 3D on the big screen, what would it be? Okay, um, I first off, cheers, G man. Thank you for your generosity, and I will turn on Godzilla. Are you gonna turn on? Thank you. Cheers. Oh, I think we killed this one. Cool. Um, well, there's a little bit more. So I saw Jaws 3D with my friend, where we had a DVD where the 3D worked, and we just watched the sequence twice. So because we only wanted 3D pair of 3D glasses, that used to be my answer, and I would be down for that. Um, I would say maybe Creatures of Black Lagoon, Dial M for Murder. I know Film Forum used to play it, and I kind of need to do that one. Um, I'd probably say those. Maybe one from the 3D wave of the 80s. I wouldn't Jackass 3D, which I don't know if you can even. I think it's like Lost Media actually. I might do a Lost Film Flat on the Lost 3D films of the 2010s. That would be one as well. But I'd say Dial for Murder is one I've wanted to do. Creation of Black Lagoon's one I wanted to do. Um, Spy Kids, I never got to do Spy Kids. So I think I answered that. I think that was enough. Anyway, Patreon question. Sorry, Sidram asks, when it comes to the four Sam Mendes Beatles biopics, I'm really looking forward to the scene in the George Harrison one where I listen to this song's just 6 words long by Weird Al. That's gonna be amazing, don't you think? Several people brought up Weird Al being involved in these, like that. I think Quint Review said the Paul McCartney one should end, but apparently like uh Weird Al showed up to a party and somebody yelled, hey guys, it's Weird Al," and the guy who said that was Paul McCartney, and like everyone wants a Beatles connection to, in those. I agree. I want them to all end on a different Weird Al moment, except for John. Sorry. Wait, couldn't he have listened to My Bologna? Oh man, maybe that would be it. He's like driving up to the Dakota and My Bologna's playing. And he's like, you know what? This guy's pretty good. And sorry, that was not cool. Okay. This Hannah Vocal, what's a Spider-Man character? What's a Spider-Man character you'd like to see get the big theatrical treatment? Only Spider-Man. No. I wouldn't mind Mysterio, but I feel like you got Jake Gyllenhaal to be Mysterio, and that was pretty perfect. So I don't know how you could do that. Okay, where's questions? Okay, Medela Butterfly, what's your favorite scary movie? Probably Halloween. To be honest, I know that's basic, but I'm a basic bitch. Embla T. Sorry I did not question at Patreon because I was hyperventilating about the Paramount shit, but Scream, more like ski? Okay. Austin, what do you think of Butterfly by Lazy Town? I remember the first time I heard it and I recognized it was a Red Hot Chili Peppers sample. And I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. Okay, neat. And then it got played 4,000 times and I hated it. So that's my. I remember the first time, like that first night, me and a friend were like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, we should like tell people about the song. And then, like, by the next weekend, I think we're both like looking at each other like, why did we say that? We're so fucking dumb. And it was just like on the radio. We didn't have, like, now you can just be obsessed with the song for a weekend. But then it was just on the radio and they played it like, I think we heard it like 3 times that night. And we thought it was cool there. Because I think they told, I think he knew it was a Chili Pepper sample. Like that. I think that's a Frusciante riff, if I recall. But it's been a long time, so I don't listen to Butterfly by Crazy Town or Lazy Town. Are we talking about the kids show? Maybe we are. Embla T, is the bride gonna be just woman Joker? I realize this because it's made almost by the same team, especially the DB. I think it'll be better than the Joker. That'd be disappointing. The Wessonator, any announcement predictions for tomorrow's Pokemon Day presentation? Whatever it is, it will not beat when I went to the 10th anniversary. Hulk Hogan showed up, and that's my famous picture with the Pokemon. I have no clue. I don't know enough about what goes on with Pokemon now. Empathy, should I go see All I Need Is Kill or Solo Mio? I'm going to say All I Need Is Kill. How do you feel about stuffed crust? I like stuffed crust. What's wrong? Empathy, can you kill a Red Bull? Yes. I just do it slowly through the super chats and stuff. So, Sending a photo. What's a food in New York that you want to try but have yet to? I don't think I've really had a chopped cheese. I should get a good chopped cheese. I feel like I had one a long time ago, but I need to do that. So, what's your favorite old commercial? Maybe Mentos. Oh no, there's this one where it was like, oh, man, you know what? I'll post on the Discord, Blacksea. I'm sorry. They take the Tainted Love, but they do it with like things in the hospital. It's like boo doo boop boop, and they do the whole song on this like in this hospital emergency room. That is actually my favorite commercial from the 90s. I thought that was really cool. I've yet to see, like, I love that commercial. I'll post it. Maybe I should do a thing about it at some point. But Austin, do you think Jack Perkins will appear in the Mystery Science Theater Rift Tracks reboot, even though he died in 2019? I wouldn't mind if they brought back the Mystery Science Theater Hour. Like, one episode is just the Mystery Science Theater Hour. I'm good with that. Actually, I think that would be cool. I like just one. I've never seen. Maybe I should review a Mystery Science Theater Hour at some point. I never really got to see it. I just saw clips on YouTube, so I've never tried to watch an episode through that. Maybe I should. Black Sox Uncle, have you imported anything? I'm importing 2 Japanese exclusive Furbies. I do have a multi-region player, and I did when I was in Iceland buy an Icelandic DVD when the Ravens flies. So I guess I did that one, but I imported it myself. Embla T, do these Paramount people understand cinema? Can they drag in Megan Ellis in there since she seemed to be the only one who cared about art? Yeah, I don't know what happened to her, and I wish they would. Georgian's favorite animal. I mean, come on. It's cats. Embla T, Marvel's Wonder Man reference Pizzagate and Midnight Cowboy. Is this Disney's best show so far? I don't remember the Pizzagate, but I remember Midnight Cowboy. I'm like very slowly watching that show. It is a really good show. I was kind of surprised the quality of it. Is Joseph Gordon-Levitt doing okay? I don't know, but I haven't seen him in forever. So, Cornbread, Bruce Campbell Mysterio. Make that Sam Raimi's next movie. Austin, what's a good question that I can use to bring up Babu Frick with? Oh boy, that one, I guess. Are you seated for the next Martin Scorsese movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu? Yes, I love that he would the Grogu Mandalorian Grogu. They have 2 auteurs, Herzog and then Scorsese. So who else are they getting? I don't know. Embla T. I've been watching every version of Wuthering Heights and plan to watch every single one of them. What is the best film version for you so far? I've not seen the new one. I like the Andrea Arnold one a lot, as I recall. The 30s one was okay. I never feel like it's been nailed completely. The only two I've seen is the 30s one and the 39 one. I believe it's 39. And the I feel like maybe the 39 one. I don't know. Those are both interesting. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see. Austin said, "Do you think Torgal will show up in the Mystery Science Theater reboot?" Probably. He's very popular, especially when the Master is away. All right. I think. Oh, you know what? We're actually on time. Exactly to 2 hours. Look at us. Look at this. It's hard when I start late because my mind does not time adjust. So whatever. There's a Japanese Wuthering Heights. I saw. What's the best sandwich? I have to make my sandwich for lunch after this, so that one. No, I like tuna sandwiches, but the problem with tuna sandwiches is you can't really. You have to make those and then eat them. You can't pack them. Usually, a good sandwich. Well, if it's okay, there's a difference between a sandwich you make to eat right away and there's a sandwich you make for later. And don't put lettuce on a sandwich you're gonna eat for later. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's a fucking mistake. Babu Frick. Oh my god. Third on tour. I wouldn't mind. You know what? If you're gonna do Herzog Scorsese, I think you should go get another foreign director. I mean, you can't get. Who would you get? I don't even know who's alive who'd make the cinema people. Get John Carpenter. All right, I think we're done here. We're good. I want to thank everyone who gave a super chat during the show. I really do appreciate it, you guys. Said which would Bloxy Oxwinkle, Super Kirby Dude, William Elman, Austin, Nattenbox, 64, Nattenbox 64, Austin, William Elman, Mandela Butterfly, George Tunes, William Elman, Sinram, George Tunes, and William Elman. Thank you all very much for your super chat. Grind to Palma. Thank you, Sinram. Cheers to all of you. And this is done. I can just put it. Oh, I just kept this running. Oh, I guess. Well, I'll put it in the recycling once we're done. Anyway, good night. I'm not sure if the next stream will be on a Thursday or a different date, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll let you know. There may be extra ones for Oscar predictions and, of course, an Oscar reaction. But again, keep your eyes peeled. I think I'll have more information about that next stream. I think this weekend it'll probably be some shorter stuff, and then we'll get longer stuff soon. And Arco will probably be the next movie review. Anyway, thank you all very much for being here. Thank you for being as nice as you are. Um, I hope you guys have a good weekend. See a good movie, and I will see you all next time. All right, peace. Bye. Or wait. Oh, I was gonna do those fade out. I'll do it right after this. All right. See ya. Bye.